All right, another day, another car, another Supra, right? So this is Frank's car. I've known Frank now for God, I guess almost 10 years. And we've talked on and off for years, like him bringing it here, dropping off. It's gone through multiple iterations. He's had this car for a very long time. Like you said, it's been here, there, wherever. It's got some older parts on it. It's got some newer stuff on it. It's on a MOTEC M150 now with the John Reed Racing firmware, software, originally tuned by Cody Phillips. And now it's here to fix a few things. Car fires up and it'll fire, run, but even when it fires up, it takes 7, 8, 9 tries. One thing I noticed, I told him to key off, key back on. Once it primed again, car fired up fine. So curious about how the priming sequence works or what's going on there. It's got quite a few things going on. It's a 3.4 liter stroker. He's not sure exactly what the internals are. He just knows the stroker. Car made, I think he said like 1,400 horsepower, made a good bit of juice. You can see the turbo on it's quite massive here. But my goal is I got to replace the speakers in it, go through the fuel system, see why when it fires up, it does all that nonsense. And then when it's running too, it'll just randomly die. And if you try to start it back up, it just sounds like it's missing, having all sorts of issues. It's all over the place. I'm wondering if it's a fail-safe that's like, it's just on the edge. So once it's warm, something's going on. Again, once I get the laptop hooked up, we'll go through the MOTEC. I'll get in contact with Cody Phillips. It's got a coolant leak. I've got a laundry list of things here to go through. On top of that, we got a dual design mount we got to put on the car, which I'll start showing you guys some of this stuff here, and a TRD steering wheel, which he wants to integrate the cruise control stock into it. If you guys know, the TRD wheels didn't have anything. They were just a steering wheel with an airbag. So right now, the rolling anti-lag, just kind of like on my car, it's integrated into the cruise control. He wants to keep that. So I've got to try and manipulate a back plastic piece to make it fit. I'm going to have to drill and tap into it. So it's going to be a little bit of finessing, but nothing too crazy. So yeah, that kind of puts us there. Let's go over some of the parts and look at the car a little bit more in detail. So my daughter's helping out right now, but as we pulled the center console off, because we're removing a lot of the electronics, there is a ton of, it looks like a mouse was in here. So not exactly what you want to see. Going through the dash, turn my light on, but a lot of things were just taped. Again, this is never knocking anybody, but just showing, like a lot of the stuff was just taped together. So it obviously worked at one time, now it doesn't. So I'm gonna have to tape those wires off. Pulling this down through for the old gauge cluster because we won't need it because we have a BTI gauge. Yes, honey. Oh, we're just gonna wait. Let me finish this up, Bubba. Okay. Okay. Take out the turbo timer here, but we're leaving.
Safe for you.
You will. Okay. Obviously, get the B&M short shifter. I'm just trying to clean this up before we go through there, so I can clean up all this wiring and then start tracing it back to find why it either has a tuning issue or it has a ground issue somewhere. So, I want to fix this all first. So we got a lot going on at once. This M&W igniter ignition setup was already in the car, same with the MOTEC. And it did, but didn't. Had this, the Dual Designs Pro mount, which is amazing. But they put it over top of this, which you can't do that. This has to be removed. The skeleton, I'll call it, for this to work properly. So we'll go back in the car here. And again, I'm cleaning up a ton of wiring. So if you see everything apart, I've got new speakers going. I did this all yesterday, just trying to get this knocked out. But that entire skeleton under here needs to go out. I'm going to vacuum this up a little bit, and then we have to put some tabs in. One goes up there, one goes here, and that allows it to mount. Keep it as low as possible, so we can put the factory cover or the Dual Design cover back on. Makes it look really nice. I wanted to label, make sure everything was okay too before I took anything apart. So, yeah, that was pretty much it for right now while I go through the rest of the part. So my daughter's out here with me right now, but going over this, Frank had told me that this was his original fuel pump and relay setup. No problem. And I'm back tracing everything, right? You go through everything, I tape the wires, go back through it. And I started tracing it back and I'm running it through and I'm like, wait, why was it fused up there and you still have this back here? So they're still using that original power and fuse up front and then going back to the secondary power and fuse here, which I can't pop it off, that goes into these wires here. So we're moving the battery to the back, so I'm going to rip all that out. I can keep those wires. I'll pull it back as far as I can, and I can reuse, crimp those wires, and we'll be placing the battery here. So those wires don't need to run the whole way up there anymore, clean things up. I'll make like a battery block or something here. So everything's in a more central location, and then kind of go through a few more things. But yeah, that explains a lot more now. So that's what they were doing. It's not the end of the world. I might even eliminate that altogether and just use one giant power wire going from here to there, because it has like 2 separate wires, which again is not necessary. I've got a back trace to solve. This is the part that stinks, right? When you have a vehicle you haven't worked on before and you've got to diagnose things or go through it, this is the kind of stuff you find. Nothing's wrong. I just want to make sure that's clear. Nothing's wrong per se. It's just you're trying to find out what was done before, just kind of like underneath the dash. All this stuff here, I mean, I've just wires ran everywhere, clumps of stuff, literally everywhere. Again, all that wire that's hacked up under there, I've got to trace it back to make sure, why is it doing this? What is it doing? I've also got the new speaker mounts in. I've got new speakers here, more stuff I'm just pulling out. So I'm putting in these Rockford Fosgate. This is what I use in every car. All my cars get these. They're the Punch series. They're perfect. They fit in there. And I know if Larry previous how you say his last name, from Supra Monster seeing this, he would say like, oh, use the factory setup. I'm happy with these. I'm so happy they fit in there. The smaller speakers you need, the like 4-inch speakers that you have to get a 4 1/4. It's just not very many options. And these are fantastic. I haven't had any issues with them rattling. I know they probably have better bass if there's an enclosure. I understand wholeheartedly, but these work great just to have some sound while you're running down the road. So let's get back to it here. I'm going to trace back some more wires. So this is another area I pride myself on a lot, is when I do these remote battery setups, how I run the wiring to keep it as tucked away and away from anything that could grab on it. So what I do is I run a 0 gauge wire. Some people might say it's overkill, but I'd rather have it than not. When it comes to electrical system, it's oxygen-free copper. It's small strands, so electricity runs over top the strands, so it makes the most sense, right? Then I run a 4 gauge from here down to the starter. Again, a little bit overkill, but rather have it than not. Helps everything start, move better, work better. Then I run up and over. So all the wiring before was actually attached to this plastic. And if you guys know, the reason it has this plastic cover on it here is because in case the wheel comes up and hits it, not a good day. So I always run up and over, down around inside the metal here. It's hard to see. And then go through this hole here. Then it runs inside the body here. And then I run it back down and behind here. So behind this metal piece, goes underneath these clips here, back behind this plastic. From behind that plastic, we go the whole way out, and I come up here. Now, some people like this here was ran through here before. Now, the reason I don't like that is if you put the factory plastic here, can't get to it or it pinches it. This allows you to run up, comes down here, so we put these factory plastics back on, they go right here. This is just an open spot, comes out, and it'll go right to the battery I'm gonna have mounted in the back. Now, you can see the massive difference here in the wiring. So this is very thick 0 gauge oxygen-free copper wire, and you can see what was there before. It is a night and day difference. So we'll get rid of that. I'm going to run this directly up to the battery. And then from here, we'll run it to the fuel pump fuse setup. And then I've got to figure out, again, I got to pull the whole fuel system out to see what is grounded here. If there's a single ground wire coming out, that's just not enough for those pumps. So just want to give you guys that update. All I got to do here next is zip tie a few things. Zip ties aren't always the most ideal, but in this case, it's the easiest and best way to do it. So pull the fuel hanger out because I was worried about that wiring. I'm glad I did. All 3 wires here go in to one connection point. That is the only ground that then goes out for 3 pumps, which is just not enough. I just realized I actually had this still here and another connector I'd already pinned before, so this makes it kind of nice. I'll go ahead and use that. You guys will see it only has one single wire coming out of it, which is like a, I don't know, 14 or 16 gauge wire. And that was it. You can see how beefy the power wires are. So I'm thinking that's part of the issue. It was only grounded here too. Again, might not be it, but we got to fix some of the stuff. Again, this was another one that came off of it, which I'm going to ground directly to the battery now. So I'm going to go ahead and start swapping this out. Working here in the fuel hanger again, put the new connectors in, ran the wire down inside here. So this is all going to a 6-pin DTP connector. You have to pull out the orange seals. I do this on every car, especially the brushless stuff because it doesn't come with really any wiring or connectors. With these, they have those factory ones, but I just cut those off, put it to a DTP. You could put 3 2-pin DTPs. I just put 6 because if you're going to replace the pump, you're going to have to either depin one of the connectors anyways. So it is what it is. So I just leave it like this, one connector. It keeps everything nice and tight. And this wire is so stiff that it keeps it in there. You could zip tie it like this here needs to be. I'm going to have to zip tie it up to one of the tubes or to this here. I'd already told Frank this white wire here is very, very, very brittle and breaking. See if I can get it on. See if I can even get it on camera here.
You guys can see that white wire is very brittle. I let them know. It's just this car's running CD5, and you know that sheathing on there was never designed for racing gas. It's just the alcohol's eating away at it. The other two wires seem fine. It's just the white one. You can see the corrosion and stuff on some of the connectors and pins and things of that nature. So if we get it back in and it doesn't work, I wanted to let them know. But now it's time to pop this back in, and then I just got to do the wiring on the top side. Guys, so that pretty much sums up Frank's car. So sorry that was beyond sporadic. We were just so insanely busy during that time. Future cars here, we're trying to record everything. It's just been very, very hard because I'm trying to do billing, invoicing, taxes, all of that. I've got Rob working out there right now, doing an 8 HP swap. We just became a Dummy Works dealer for the entire Northeast. So Maryland, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York. If you need something, hit me up. We're the only dealer for the Northeast. I'm pretty pumped for that. A couple other things too on Frank's car. Fixed all the fueling issues at the dyno. We had zero issues. We didn't even change plugs. Like literally, we had no problems. It was like the best time ever. Like that's how it should go. Like you should have no problems, no issues. It should just be fantastic the entire time. And that's what it was. We had a great time. It was nice. It was quite nice to be like that. So yeah, I mean, I can't really say much more besides it was a wonderful time. Frank's car made, as you saw, there's some really good power. Everything that could have been right was right. And it's so refreshing. That's why we're talking to the guys that own the dyno down there at Bagworks here, saying that me and like one other shop comes down every time we have a car there, we have like zero issues. We come down, the car's pretty well sorted, and we just make pulls. The only thing we usually do is either change spark plugs or swap fuel from 93 to E5. In this case, we just ran straight up VP racing gas. So we just didn't have to do anything. We just made pools for 2 hours, sorted everything out. Thank you to CW Boosted or Chris Welch. He did a fantastic job. If you need a MOTEC car done or pretty much any tuning, he is great. Reach out to him. I'll list his Instagram here, but yeah, the whole process was great. Again, guys, as this video goes live, my website should be live now too. So purefunction.net's live. I am a direct powerhouse racing dealer. Brembo, Dummy Works, it's all going up slowly. And if you guys need to get a hold of me, there's a page on there you click on. It sends all the information direct to me. This has also been a very, very exciting process for me. So I really appreciate everyone's been so kind. I am constantly doing estimates right now and getting so much work in. I am beyond fortunate. I never in a million years I think it'd be like this. So guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I hope it continues, and I hope I can continue to keep making videos like this. You guys still enjoy them as long as you guys keep clicking and liking. I'm going to keep doing it. So thank you all very much again. If you guys need anything, go check out purefunction.net, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Later, guys. Peace!